There's been some really concerning trends this season in the WNBA, especially around player safety and the way aggressive plays are targeting rising stars, like rookie Caitlin Clark.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's pretty startling to see the numbers and the stories behind them.
Right, so check this out. Clark has been on the receiving end of 5 flagrant fouls this season, which, believe it or not, makes up about 17% of all flagrant fouls in the entire league.
Wow, that's an eye-opener. Indeed.
And, yeah, what's even more striking is that 4 out of those 5 fouls came from players all on the same team, specifically the Chicago Sky.
Mm-hmm. That really raises questions about whether these actions are just part of intense competition or something more deliberate.
Exactly. And when you break down the types of plays we're seeing, it's like there are 3 categories. You have the plays that are, well, genuine but aggressive basketball moves. Then there are those that are over the top and borderline dangerous. And finally, some that look like, intentional cheap shots.
Right. And that's where the line gets blurry. I mean, where do we say, okay, it's rough, but it's still the game, versus, no, that's just going too far?
Absolutely. Take, for example, that shoulder check by Kennedy Carter, where Clark wasn't even really involved in the play. It's like that move goes way beyond what anyone would call
Yep,
a normal physical basketball play.
that definitely isn't just a case of rough and tumble play. It feels, well, more targeted and arguably dangerous.
And sure, physicality is a natural part of professional basketball. The tricky part is figuring out where the tough defense stops and where dangerous play begins.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's the million-dollar question.
The league has tried to address things by upgrading calls to flagrant fouls during reviews. That shows they're paying attention to player safety, but, it seems like some deeper issues are at play here.
True. It seems like, beyond just making calls on the court, there's a cultural element too.
Right, think about the dynamics when a rookie like Clark bursts onto the scene. Suddenly there's unprecedented media attention, big crowds, and a lot of shifting energy in the league.
Yeah, it's like the spotlight creates this pressure where veteran players who have been grinding for years might feel underappreciated or even threatened.
Exactly. It's like when you're the longtime performer, and then a newcomer comes in and takes the spotlight with packed arenas and flashy endorsements. It stirs up some complex emotions.
Right? And those emotions can sometimes translate on the court into overly aggressive play, which can jeopardize not only the safety of the players, but the integrity of the game itself.
Mm-hmm. And then you have voices like Cheryl Swoops, whose recent comments have been particularly troubling. She's been spreading misinformation about Clark's stats and records.
That's definitely problematic, because when legends say things like that, it sets a dangerous precedent.
Exactly. It's not just harsh criticism. It actively undermines a rising star's accomplishments, and by doing so, it can make other players think that dubious tactics are acceptable.
Yep. I mean, if influential figures downplay dangerous plays, it might encourage a mentality where competitive aggression overshadows, fair play and safety.
Right? And look, it's like you have genuine on-court rivalries that push players to excel, but when those rivalries turn into, targeted flagrant fouls, it not only endangers players but distorts the spirit of the game.
Hmm. But some might say, isn't aggression just part of competitive sports? Where do you draw the line?
I get that. And aggressive defense is necessary. But there's a fine line. The kind of play that accidentally hurts someone is one thing, but when it's overstepping into intentional cheap shots, then we've definitely crossed the line.
Exactly. And it's that intentional targeting, like focusing excessive flagrant fouls on a specific player, that really shifts the conversation away from the game's integrity.
Yeah, and think about it. When these inappropriate calls or aggressive plays come from one team repeatedly, as we see with the Chicago Sky, it almost feels like it's a targeted effort rather than just isolated incidents.
Correct. And if the league then steps in to upgrade calls after the fact, it's clear they're trying to send a message. But maybe, um, those measures need to be even more robust.
Right? Perhaps stronger penalties like hefty fines or even suspensions might be necessary to really deter players from engaging in dangerous tactics.
I'd agree. Because when the system isn't a strong enough deterrent, it kind of signals that dangerous play is, at least tolerable.
Exactly. And it's not just about punishing dangerous play. It's also about setting a standard that respects all players on the court and the hard work
Yep.
that's gone into building the league.
Right. When veteran players or media personalities downplay these incidents, it can inadvertently encourage a culture that misses the point on safety and fair competition.
Absolutely. Look, while discussions about media coverage and the marketing of stars are valid, they should never come at the cost of player well-being. The focus should always be on ensuring every athlete can perform without being intentionally endangered.
Yeah. And with Clark's popularity boosting attendance and viewership to historic highs, it's like the whole ecosystem benefits, but only if it's built on respect and safe play.
Right. It's a bit of a double-edged sword. On one hand, the influx of attention is fantastic for the league, but on the other, it stokes complex emotions that can lead to more aggressive behavior on the court.
I get that. But don't you think sometimes aggressive play is just part of the competitive fire that makes sports so exciting?
I totally agree. It adds to the drama. But here's where I have to push back a little. When that aggression turns into targeted play that endangers a player repeatedly, that's no longer just competitive pressure. It's a serious safety issue.
Yeah, I see that. For sure. It's a delicate balance. And I think the league is at a turning point. They need to get ahead of this to protect every player, not just the highlights.
Absolutely. The future of the WNBA is riding on how these issues are handled. With record numbers in attendance and viewership, it's all the more important that the sport is as safe and responsible as it is exciting.
Yeah. And that means not only enforcing the rules, but also ensuring that veteran voices use their influence responsibly to promote fairness and safety.
Right. It's like the whole community, from players to coaches to media, needs to rally behind the idea that exceptional basketball doesn't come at the cost of endangering anyone.
Exactly. And it's about setting these standards so that every athlete, whether a rookie or a seasoned pro, feels protected and appreciated.
It really comes down to preserving the integrity of the game. We want rivalry and competitive tension, but they have to be channeled into fair, respectful play, not reckless behavior.
And that's the key. The better the enforcement and the clearer the message, the more likely we are to see the kind of sportsmanship that elevates the game.
Right, so moving forward, I think it's crucial for the league to consider introducing even stricter measures where necessary. The current flagrant foul reviews are a start, but they, might not be enough on their own.
Indeed. And maybe even using those penalties as a deterrent can help set a new, safer standard across the board.
Exactly. It's all about balance, heightening the excitement of the play, while ensuring that every move happens within the bounds of safety and respect.
And that's what makes the sport compelling. When players push each other, it's thrilling. But when that push turns dangerous, it undermines what the game is truly about.
Right. Imagine it like a high-stakes dance. Both partners have to be in sync and trust each other to avoid stepping on toes, or in this case, risking injury.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. Dense competition, yet with a mutual understanding of boundaries.
Exactly. And so we really hope that as the season winds down, the focus will shift back to that high-quality, skillful basketball we're all here for.
Absolutely. And when the spotlight is on the game and the strategy, everyone benefits. Fans get fantastic matches, and players can truly shine without fear.
Yep, and that's why it's so important for all involved, from players to media, to stand up for player safety and fair play. When they do, integrity on the court reigns supreme.
Yep, and in the end, that builds a legacy for the WNBA that's defined by skill, respect, and an unwavering commitment to excellence.
Exactly. So here's to hoping the remaining games this season are filled with um, great competition, mutual respect, and of course, top-notch basketball.
Absolutely. Cheers to a safer, more exciting season for everyone on the court.